What's going on, fellas? All-22 coming back with another video. Just looking at some information here. Somebody gave me this information from Match Quarters, and it looks like PFF combined together to make this chart. And I just highlighted 4 teams that I wanted to talk about because they are the wide 9 teams that I have been following really for the past couple years. I'm a 49ers fan, so obviously I have experience with watching the wide 9 defense, and then also obviously coaching with Jim Schwartz with the Buffalo Bills back in the day. I have experience actually coaching in the defense for a year as well. So that's my experience level, but really this is more of just watching film, and that's what we're going to do in this video. But really wanted to just kind of highlight a little bit of what I see here. I'll leave the Niners out of it from last year because last year with the new defensive coordinator trying to run the scheme that Demeco Ryans and Robert Saleh had put in, it was a little bit different. So I'm not going to really speak on it too much, and he's not there anymore. But let's just jump down to the Jets and the Texans, okay? Down to the Texans because in Madden, and that's what the video is really about, I've gone through and I've kind of recreated. Let's go with the Browns first, right? The Jim Schwartz playbook. And if you look at the percentages here, you will see that the hot red is highest really in the league. And obviously, as you get to the lighter blues, the darker blues is one of the least teams in the league. So you can see that they have heavy cover 1 as his main coverage, number 1 in the league in general, playing a lot of that cover 1, right? And then we have cover 3 being his next call, somewhere in the middle of the pack, right? Most of the NFL is playing a lot of cover 3, so they're somewhere in the middle of the pack. So that's where they stand out. So I always talk about personality of a team and identity of a team. We know the Browns are into cover 1, and then you start looking at the split safety coverages. I know Jim. I've talked about this in my book that I have on my Patreon, and then just the instructional how to run the defense. Cover 2 is one of his favorite coverages here, you see, but that's really a third down defense, okay? And then he doesn't really run a lot of quarters or cover 6. He would run cover 6 again on 3rd and long, right, as a changeup. So that's pretty much just a good tell of what's going on, all right? Overall, blitz percentage is actually in the middle of the league here at 3.7. Cover 0, sorry, just cover 0, not overall blitz. Cover 0 blitz, okay? So not a big 0 blitzer. All right, so that's that. Then I talked about Demeco Ryans, which to me kind of matches a little bit up in how I like to play Madden from my experiences in my coaching career, running quarters coverage as well. So let's just take a look at where he's at. So, he's pretty much like evenly split, right, when it comes to like what he does from a percentage standpoint of what the trends are in the NFL. You see 14% here, cover 1, more in the blue, right? So he's a little bit more of a cover 3 team, right? So he's right in the middle of the league, what people run with cover 3, all right? Then we talk about really the split safety coverages. You see how right now here at the bottom, cover 4 pops up, quarters, right? So this is the difference between, most wide 9 teams traditionally, and then what you see in the NFL today. You're going to get more quarters, okay? Now, I'll talk about it when we watch the film, the technique that he's actually executing. Is it heavy match quarters all the time, or is it more of a vision zone sometimes as well? And I think it's a mix. But when I've been watching Demeco, be the coordinator for the 49ers, he was really a lot more true match. And unfortunately, there were some games, especially against the Rams, where they knew that and they took advantage of it and they kind of beat us on some plays and some big games, okay? Now, over here, cover 6, this is the trend in general. The NFL has become more cover 6 with that Vic Fangio pre-influence. But, he's somewhere in the, middle to upper pack with a little bit of cover 6. So you see that right there. So that is the difference between when we watch a little bit of the Texans. You're going to get your single high looks of cover 3, but then the next coverage is going to be cover 4, okay? Then over here, let's look at the Jets, because I didn't really realize this until somebody made me aware of it, that the Jets are one of the teams that run cover 4 the most in the NFL. So I didn't know that at all. You can see how they're dark red, right? So they are a heavy cover 4 team. And then you see the cover 6 showing up a little bit as well. Not so much cover 2, right? And then over here, look at the single high looks. Really kind of on the low end, right, of cover 3. So for the league And most it looks like most of the league. You look at the numbers here, somewhere around 30 to 40% cover three is the top coverage in the NFL. Still, they are in the lower end, but you know what? They also have good man defenders, so they are also in the upper end of playing man. So, what is their personality? They're a little bit more man heavy, right, with playing quarters. Okay, where the Texans are a little bit more cover three heavy with playing quarters. Okay, so just wanted to show you that, just kind of a difference of some of the teams. You guys can take a look at the whole chart, see your favorite team, and then go from there. Now, we'll talk more about it later on, but there are certain teams that, what is their pre-snap look and then what is their post-snap coverage, right? So we have a lot of teams that show the too high look. If you guys have been listening to my Fangio stuff, he's one of those teams that's going to show too high and then get into something else a lot of times. In the past, he's been more getting into, he staged show, played too high and played a myriad of different too high coverages behind it. Different versions of quarters and six and all types of stuff. But this year he's actually been a little bit more getting into the single high stuff out of the too high show as his final coverage. But anyway, just that's a whole nother story. We're just kind of focused on the Texans right now. And then just so you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to update my playbook on online. So right now I have the Jim Swartz playbook. That's there. That's my highest downloaded book, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the Wade Phillips book is up there. And then I have DR Wide 9, which is Demeco Ryans Wide 9, which was really my personal playbook. I'm going to strip that down and just make it the Demeco Ryans personality, which is going to be more quarters, right? And cover three. So you guys can just have that and just run it more like how he runs it. And then as I watch more tape, I'll throw in some blitzes. So the DR Wide 9 is going to be strictly the Texans style, how he runs it, okay? And then I'm going to go back, and I already uploaded it, and I'm going to update it as I go, cleaning things up a little bit before the year is over. Wide 9 playbook, and that's going to be my own personal playbook, which has influences of really all these teams here that you see highlighted. Really the Browns and definitely the Texans, and then Robert Saleh, what he's been doing, what's been overlapping with the Texans over time. Okay, so just wanted to let you guys know that's more like if you just want to run the wide 9, more from my own experience and how I would run it in real life and the type of coverages. I'm going to be a little more coverage heavy, just letting you know. I'm going to play 9, I'm going to play cover 6, I'm going to play cover 4 a lot more to try to match up to the formations. So I don't know what category you would put my style into, but I kind of am a little bit more coverage heavy because I'm a DB coach and that's what I like to do. So I expect my rush to get home. I'm not really going to be in a lot of all-out pressure looks, okay? But I don't mind playing cover 3, and I definitely don't mind playing cover 1. So I'm just a good overall mix, okay? And then that's that. And then obviously I'm using my Madden experience of what works in Madden, right? Certain things work better. So we've got to use those things more often, right? So just wanted to start with this sheet. What we're going to do real quick is actually just jump into some film of the Texans. I just want to watch, this is game 3. First 2 games, they kind of got beat up a little bit, but they played the Ravens and they played another team that offensively was a little bit different. And then they finally played the Jaguars, who they pretty much run a generic modern day offense of a mix of spread and under center. And so I thought that was a good way to kind of get a view of what they were doing. And I expect to see a lot of cover 3, and I expect to see a lot of quarters, okay? And that's going to be pretty much like the identity of the Texans defense. So when I go back into the playbook and I update it and get it looking right, it's going to be a lot more cover 3 and quarters, okay? And then from there, we're mixing, obviously, we're going to have all the other stuff in there, but that's what you should be doing if you want to run the Demeco style of defense, I'm sorry. All right, guys, I will be right back, and I'll talk to you when we watch the tape. Okay, let's take a look at Houston, Texas. Take a look at what's going on here. It looks like we have a 2x2 set shotgun. And, looking at the numbers, it looks like Houston is really cut pretty much whatever shell they're in to start, they're pretty much going to be in coverage-wise. So they don't do a lot of disguising. Not that much anyway. But this is definitely a single high shell, one high shell. Looks like it's some sort of cover 3. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's cover 3 or if it's cover 1. You're not going to be able to tell all the time. Sometimes formation will help you, sometimes it won't. So just taking a look at the front, we have the wide 9 front. Here we're going to even with this tight motion, this edge player right here stays outside. Sometimes those guys will come inside to become a seven technique. I think they actually do it later on. This looks like duo. All right, it looks like a hard double team here with the guard and the everywhere is a double team everywhere. So we get a double team on this. Oh no, they actually folded inside to get this guy. So my fault. But you get definitely get a double. Okay, working up to the backers. Even if it is inside zone, there's definitely double teaming with it. But it looks like duo with the angle and the action. The way the back ran that play, it looks like he was coming straight downhill. I don't think that was zone. Okay, so no zone steps here. Looks like we have the double teams. We're just going to try to fit these gaps up. He has A, he has B. Again, you don't just run into gaps if you don't have to. Try to bounce to your gap, get there. The one thing that's really unique about this defense, right, in general, with this full block, you definitely have to, this safety has to come and fit. He's probably going to fit. Technically, he probably should fit outside, but I do think there's a corner here. So he wouldn't be wrong to fit inside this guy. But honestly, a lot of times in NFL, we just tell him to blow that guy up. Any type of insert block, just knock him back on his ass. Don't give the running back an easy one-way go. Okay, make it cloudy. But the main thing is to shoot your gun right now. Okay, that's the main thing you got to do. Get up in there. He did go inside, so he's in good shape. One second here. All right. So anyway, that was an easy run. Probably spent too much time on that one. Let's take a look at this. This is definitely something different that I've noticed. This is kind of how the 49ers play their cover three as well. This is absolutely cover three sky. You can see all the linebackers and the safeties and the nickel. They don't really, they kind of just kind of float. I hate to say it. Like, I'm used to kind of like guys getting to their spots, keeping their eyes on the quarterback. But you see how they kind of just go back and just go kind of straight back, not that much width. They don't get a lot of width in their drop. So I'm not sure if they're telling the corners to play tight thirds, but that looks like just a regular true third at the top up here. Let me get my drawing up here. Let me just go back here, guys. It's been a while since I've done some tape, so I want to make sure I get you some film. Guys who are part of the DB room, right? And just people in general. Let's get back on this tape a little bit in the off season. We got a little comeback right here. Most guys would have this guy buzz to try to get underneath it. But maybe it's like they almost like teach these guys to get very small width and just kind of pack the middle of the defense and then let people throw outside throws in cover three. Um, they are a big cover three team, so I'm really curious to see, what kind of success they have. But old school of watching the quarterback throw the ball usually is you watch him throw it, watch him catch it. Ward's been a part of the Miko defense for a while, so I'm not quite sure. Yeah, decent rush, nothing to write home about. That's there all day versus the cover three. Let's go to the next one. I got a 3-by-1 nub formation, a little trips tight end. Ball must have been snapped pretty quick. You can definitely tell this is definitely another cover three look. You can see our corner at the bottom, our nickel, right? He sees bubble. He tries to get outside leverage of it. He would just feather out. And we have our two guys in the box. We have that one high look, 8-man box football, or technically 7-man box football. And our corner has to be part of this run fit. So you're going to see here the defensive end. Watch, who's that? Anderson comes underneath. He starts in a 9 technique, and then he gets down to that tight 7 right here. I've always talked about this, even in the Madden world. This is almost like playing the big nickel package. Okay, when you play big nickel, usually that end is in that gap right there, and that really does hurt against people trying to run the ball off of C gap. And again, it looks like they're working like a counter action in the backfield. Doesn't really match the run action up front. Let's see what it is. That one looks more like true zone, to be honest with you. See, look at the footwork of the O line, right? That looks like it actually is inside zone to the defensive right. But I can't really tell if it was the same play idea. But obviously, this tight end could not handle this block. So it's interesting. I don't know if it's hard to tell if that was inside zone or not. O line guys can talk to me about it. This is going to be a pressure. Okay, so we start here. We don't really disguise this at all. We just start in the single high look. We have our safety walk down here already, and he's just going to blitz off the edge. So I think it's definitely man to man, man to man, man to man. Safety kind of cheats in the middle third, and kind of gets over there late. But definitely, this could have been a catch. Um, and I don't probably a whole player in the middle. These guys are probably working a banjo. He steps to the left now. He becomes free. So we get this fade route combination right here, a little smash fade against cover one. It's a good throw. Just got to be caught. So the idea was there. The execution wasn't from the offensive standpoint. The pressure didn't really get home. They had tight end and running back blocking in. I'm not sure if they knew this was a pressure, but whatever. Yeah, it's a good throw and catch, or should be catch. It's a drop. All right, here we go with, I think this is third down. So now we're going to get their quarters look, I'm assuming. Okay. Now, this could also be three butts. So it's always hard to kind of tell. And this is where you watch tape. Not 100% sure if, if they're just playing quarters and you guys are a little bit tighter because the formation is tight over here. Okay. And then over here, we're just playing true quarters. But you get a lot of speed out of this guy. Makes me feel like because he's kind of sitting flat footed because number two stays in. Not sure if he's actually a hook player, but you would think if you're playing three buzz again, these guys would be getting a little bit of width, and they're really not. So I'm thinking this is just quarters. We're playing with vision. But the good thing is, watch this corner at the top of the screen. Watch this dude use what I call, anytime you get a tight split, I've talked about this before, shade technique. He's going to shuffle for two steps to the outside, a 45-degree angle. And by that time, the receiver is going to be at about 10 yards. And you're going to know if he's going to run it out, right? Or if he's going to run a post. Those are the two routes you're going to get the most. And if he's going to run that spray out, okay, he's going to outside release it to the top and bottom of the numbers. You can just sit on it and watch how this corner uses that technique. Even though he's playing quarters, he's pretty much locked on number one if he goes vertical outside, right? So that's his guy. And that's why it looks like he's squatting if you see his footwork. But watch it right there. Shuffle, shuffle, read, right? And by that time, I mean, the quarterback's going to throw the ball on time. If it is, you can see now quarterback's already in this lock and loaded position. Actually, the hands already separated from the ball, and he's working out, right? So double move, coach, right? Yo, double move. Not many people use it. Not many people do it. Third and about 10, it looks like. So this is a pass breakup, if I'm not mistaken. Almost an interception. I mean, he read it so fast, right? It looks like he read it fast. But again, he's just going through that shade process that I've talked about before in videos. So good job by that corner. He was waiting on it. Probably one of their key core third down routes. He was ready for it. And that's it. So the more that I look at it, again, I just think this is definitely quarters. And then look at the linebackers, right? So people would say, well, if it's quarters, this is number two. How come this DB is not working through number two, right? No, third and long, I'm telling you, it's almost like playing Madden with turning match off for the underneath defenders for sure. Okay. Because these guys are just getting to like a hook, curl, middle hook. He's still working towards three, but he's using the technique that is used in San Francisco as well. That is not taught by a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure he was one of the people that did a good job of teaching this technique. So it's funny. You watch this and you watch the Niners defense, and the Niners defense got ragged for the linebackers playing that way. But it looks the same to me. So that was the first series. Just wanted to kind of give a little preview of that. We'll get to the next series later. Just wanted to kind of just make sure everybody knows I'm still looking at this defense, and what I'm going to do is if I see some things that are different, I'm just going to add it to the new Demeco Ryans playbook, and I'm just going to make sure it's just Demeco, not Geronimo stuff. If you want the Geronimo stuff, go download the Wide 9 playbook, where I'm going to add in a little flair of what I like to do. But I'm going to keep this one just Demeco for people who want to use it in leagues or get ready for Madden 25. All right. I'll talk to you later, man. Peace.